Party people in the house tonight. Yeah. Hey, what's up? This is Shanea with Random Threadz podcast. You like my mermaids? I feel like I'm in my zone. I'm underwater with the mermaids. Not really. If you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, Random Threadz, you'll know what I'm talking about. Anyway, there's pictures of mermaids behind me because I'm in my daughter's room. But I totally relate to the half-naked ladies in the room, okay? They have my heart and soul. I am a land mermaid, if that even is a thing. Anyway, welcome to this week's podcast and web show. I still haven't looked that up to see if that's what that's called in front of the camera, but I'm still going to call it a web show until I look it up. And maybe even afterwards, because it might be called a web show. Anyway, so for those of you who listened to and watched last week's episode, I'm better. I'm in a way better place. And so I just wanted to say thank you all who reached out and gave me encouragement and gave me, kick in the butt, stuff like that. I do appreciate you guys. That's why I love this community. This community is amazing. And kudos to my advisor of First Form, Team Tyler. His name is Tyler. Kudos to him because he has been really helping me in ways to help with the self or the negative talk about self. Anyway, I'm usually pretty good about it, but like you guys saw last week, I was kind of in a down place in myself. And so that's another thing with First Form. And yes, I am going to go on another spiel about First Form because literally the company is freaking amazing if you haven't gotten that by now. Anyway, they don't just, want you to buy their products of like protein and pre-workout and all and like supplements and stuff like that. That's not what all they're about. What they're about is actually helping people be better versions of themselves. And so on this team, it wasn't like, go lick your wounds and just get back to your workout, No, that, like, my team leader took the time out of his own personal life to give me tips and give me ways to help myself be nicer to myself and to get myself out of the funk that I was in. And it's amazing to me that people, like a stranger, literally a stranger I've never even met, none of the people on Team Tyler have I ever met. None of the people from First Form have I actually ever met. This is all a community that it doesn't necessarily matter. They're all kind, they're all generous, and they are all there for you to help you become a better self, better version of yourself, I should say. And not just all about the weightlifting and the getting toned and fit and healthier physically. It's about the mental as well. And if you'll go back a couple of episodes, I read their core values, or actually I read their mission statement, and it's just beyond amazing. So yes, I'm going to give another shout out to First Form because it's not just an impressive company. They are legitimate, real life people who sincerely care about everyone. They are so kind and generous, like I said, and they do help you tremendously with bettering your own self. So anyway, I am in a way better place, and I can't give the credit all to First Form or Team Tyler or Tyler himself. Of course, my biggest support system, it goes without saying mostly, is of course Dakota, my husband, and my children. They are beyond perfect for me, beyond perfect for my life, obviously. I know that sounds such like a duh statement, but I think sometimes when you go through life and when you go through hard times and when you go through up and down roller coaster emotions of, stuff that you look back, like right now I kind of look back and I'm just like, man, what was my problem? What was I going through? But at the time, and I mean, it is a legitimate thing. The emotions are legitimate, but like I look back now and be like, man, what was I going through? And it's just like, things just come out ahead sometimes. The chaos that you deal with on a daily basis inside of yourself or around you in this world it just comes to a head, and sometimes explosions happen. And no, they don't have to be like this raging explosion, but they can be just this like, it comes to a head and you're just like, blah, like you're just done, or you're just like overwhelmed, and it has to be taken care of. And so, so the biggest shout out to my betterment is myself, because I took the steps to better myself. I didn't just stay in my pity party. I actually stepped up and stepped out of my self, I should say, of my negative self talk towards myself, and the negative place that I was essentially choosing to be, to put myself in a pity party and kind of feel like I was going to give up. And so, excuse my cat knocking the tripod around. He likes to circle around my feet, and now he thinks the tripod is my feet, and so he's like doing this figure eight with my feet and my legs and the tripod. So anyway, if the camera is shaking, don't go and knocking. Just kidding, that's a different thing. Anyway, so a shout out to Dakota, because he's amazing, and that's another thing that I don't know if I want to go super deep into it right now, because everything is a touchy subject, so I'm not even going to say that. That sounds so silly, sounds so cliche, so to speak. Is like relationships, and not just any relationships, but I mean like, well, okay, so yes, any relationship. See, it's a deep subject. Anyway, so like, Dakota is my husband, and we have known each other for what seems like forever. We grew up together. We didn't even like each other at first, like not like each other. We like best friends at first, and then we liked each other, and then, you know, we got married and we have kids and, you know, stuff like that. Anyway, so we've known each other for a long time, and so, all joking aside, we're a lot like brother and sister. So there are times that he'll do brother things to me, and I'll do sister things to him, to where we actually do honestly annoy each other. And I know that happens to all married couples, especially if you are best friends or have been best friends with your partner. And I know that like probably everybody can probably say that they're best friends with their husband or with their wife or with their partner or whatever, but like Dakota and I are true best friends. Like, I don't have any other friends outside of like Dakota, because we are so close, and he is my ultimate best friend. And I think that is why ultimately we got married, because we could not imagine our life without each other in it. And so we just took it a step further than friendship, you know what I mean? Anyway, so we have known each other for forever, and we have been married for 7 years. I think I talked about it around our anniversary. I talked about it on the podcast about us being married for 7 years. Anyway, that was weird. Anyway, this whole is, shoot, I can't even like put a timeline on it or whatever. If you hear some bumping, it's because the TV is on downstairs and I accidentally left the volume up pretty high. But that's okay, because, you know, welcome to Random Threads. I'm Shanea. I'm a mom. I have children. Yeah, so you will like it. You'll like it. You'll like me. You'll like my children. And you'll like the loud TV. Anyway, so Dakota and I kind of came to this realization that we have to love ourselves. And I've talked about it on the podcast before. Like, if you don't love yourself, you don't love anybody else, because it has to start on the inside. You have to be exploding with love for yourself for it to even touch anybody else. You have to be so okay with yourself. You have to be so in line with yourself. And this isn't just like a snap of the finger thing. You actually have to sit down with yourself. And you have to be like, even if you have to write it out on a paper, you have to be like, what do I like? What do I love? And just write it out. What do I dislike? What do I hate? What disgusts me? You have to know, and you have to be honest with yourself. You have to be completely raw and honest with yourself. And sometimes, I can't even say sometimes, that is hard. That is hard shit. And I know that, like, some people can say, like, well, that's not hard. You just say your likes and your dislikes. Everybody does that all the time. But I'm talking about, like, truth and true likes, true dislikes. Be honest. Maybe start writing out your feelings. Like, you think of a situation, you start writing out every single little feeling that you had during that one situation. And this is how you can become more involved with yourself, to where you actually start knowing yourself. You start knowing what you like, you start knowing what you love, you start knowing what you dislike, you start knowing what you will not put up with, what you do not approve of, what you will not have continue in your life. You start to know those things. And then you can start to be like whole with yourself, and you're able to be like present in every situation, knowing who you are. And then once you are able to do that, it will be so much more impactful with relationships, because you'll be able to actually share yourself. Because if you don't know yourself, if you're not one with yourself, if you don't even know who you are, and I know that sounds so, again, like, a quote out of a book, or Lion King, remember who you are. Like, if you don't know that, or if you have a hard time being like, I don't know who I am, then you need to fucking sit down and figure it out. Because if you don't know who you are, if you don't know who you want to be, if you don't know what you want to strive to do for your life, or the goals or desires that you have for your life, if you're just sitting there watching your life pass you by, not even giving a flying fuck about what's going on, or what you're doing, or what you like, or what you don't like, if that's the case, then you literally you shouldn't even be in relationships, because that is selfish. It's selfish. You have to actually take active steps to care, first of all, about what's going on around you, about what you want to do, who you want to be, what you want to be, anything that you want to pursue, anything that you have a desire for, you owe it to yourself to know these things and pursue these things. So once you get that not established, because like I said, it's not a snap of the finger, it's not a finish line, it is a moment by moment learning yourself, knowing yourself. Because, like, take myself for instance, because I know myself, and I only know myself, I don't know you guys like that. I am consistently and constantly changing. Not flighty, I mean like growing more and more, leveling up, going up, knowing myself moment by moment, getting deeper and deeper inside of my true self. So once you start that ball rolling inside of yourself, then it's that much, I can't say easier, it's that much more true when you're having a relationship with somebody else. Especially, with anybody else, but especially your intimate partner, your husband, your wife, your boyfriend or girlfriend. Like, if you just start taking the steps towards knowing yourself better, knowing who you are, knowing what you want, knowing what you're not going to put up with, if you just take those steps and actually put some effort and action into it, and then after that, taking the steps to make those goals, to make those desires come true, then you can actually reach forth and touch other people's lives. Then you can actually be full and present in different relationships with whoever, any relationship. Once you are set at discovering yourself moment by moment, evolving moment by moment, then you can be able to have those relationships, and then you can start being real in those relationships, and those relationships will be tied together so much stronger. We live in such an age, and it makes me sound like an old person, but we live in such an age right now where giving up it's okay. It's actually like promoted, like quitters, It's such a thing. It's almost like a trend, or it's almost like a glorified thing where quitters, And so if something doesn't work out, then you just quit, or you just like whatever. And it's like microwave age, or however they call it. It's just like, want things just right now, right now, right now. And if you can't get it right now, then you're done. You're done. You quit. You do like 2 push-ups. You're like, dang it, I don't see any arm muscles. And then you just quit. You never do them again because it didn't work 2 times. It is just like working out. It is just like staying active and trying to change your body and stuff like that. You have to put in the time. You have to put in the effort. You have to invest in that for you to even start seeing any signs. And then once you start seeing the signs, that should be an encouragement to keep on keeping on. It goes with your mental health as well, your mental exercises. You can't just be like looking in the mirror one time and being like, you're beautiful, and then like you turn away from the mirror and you have a negative self-talk and you're like, oh, I said I was beautiful in the mirror and it just didn't work that one time, And it's like, no, that's not how it works. You have to go to that mirror every single day, every single hour if you have to, and you be like, you are beautiful. You look yourself straight in the eye and you be like, you are amazing. You are successful. You are powerful. You do get what you want. You do have favor in this world. You are going to make it. You have achieved much greatness, and you will continue to achieve much greatness. If you do that on a consistent basis, I guarantee you, your thought life towards yourself will get better and better and better. I'm not saying that you're never going to go through times of like how I was last week, up and down roller coaster negative self-talk shit. I'm just saying that, yeah, you go through that and then you get right back out of it that much faster. That much faster you have recovery. Just like any other thing. Take it to the physical workout. You have a bad whatever about your self-image and stuff, and you're just like, I'm done. I'm not working out anymore, blah, blah, blah. But then because of your consistent discipline that you'll recover that much faster, and you'll be right back at the gym. You'll be right back at your health. You'll be right back at your nutrition. It's just whatever it is. You just have to consistently invest in the time, consistently put in the effort towards those things that you want. And just like I said in the beginning, you got to know what you want first, and then you can press towards that. And that is definitely goes with relationships and stuff like that. Anyway, so I am back to better than normal, and I pray that you guys are still on your paths to being back to better than normal, because that's what I'm striving for. I don't want to be back to normal. I want to be back to better than normal. I want to be better than normal, better than everything, and that's what I've said. That's what I've said to Dakota. That's what I've said to Dakota. That's my husband. Throughout this whole pandemic shit, I have said from the beginning, I don't want to be back to normal. You want to know what I want? I want to be back to better than normal. I want us to all, the entire world, be better than it ever has been, ever, throughout history. I want us to be like so jump-started to a better place that we've never been before, any of us. Anyway, so you guys keep on keeping on. You better be looking at yourself in the mirror, and you better be telling yourself some true, honest, good stuff about yourself. Even if you have to say you have a beautiful smile, or if you have to say your eye color is really pretty. You start with the simplest things, Or you can look at yourself in the mirror and be like, thank you for waking up today. It's just those little things. And then you do it consistently. And I guarantee you, you will be in a place, a habitual place of saying affirmations to yourself throughout the entire day without even really realizing it. You guys have a fantastic rest of your weekend.